Tell me what you're feeling. Tu as a voice got This is a podcast that you're going to live.
Hey, what's happening? This is your host, Tinto. And before we get started on this week's episode, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that got me coffees, starting with you, Deborah. Well, you got your full name, but I'll just limit it to your first name. 3 generous coffees and your comedy reads here for the update. And of course, to support the best podcast out here, that confession episode, hectic. Give us an update. Well, you got your update now. Then I have Chi Chi. Thank you so much. 1 generous coffee there. Then, the last time you gave coffees, you're mad that it gave your full name, so I'm just going to call you Miss Purple. You know who you are. Generous coffee there, and your commentaries for the love and full support of Our Lady's President, Akisa. Yes, Akisa. Then next up, I've got 3 generous coffees from The Favored Woman. And your comedy reads, a live podcast event is required, somewhere easy and accessible for everyone, both Africa and those in the diaspora. That would be nice, guys. And then you went on to say Fans Connect, live episode, merch, speed dating, food, game, all of this. Think about it. You have a brilliant idea. Please DM me and let's see if we can push this forward. Then I got someone anonymous who got me 3 generous coffees and didn't leave a comment. And then last but not least, Menashe, thank you so much. I know you've been waiting to do this for a while. You bought me a coffee and you say, now that I'm no longer a student, here's my first contribution outside the liking, following, and being a very dedicated student of the Feeling Station. Thank you for the good work, Tinto. Munasha, I really appreciate that. If you'd like to support the podcast in a similar way, please head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/Feeling Station and give as the spirit leads. Remember, there's nothing too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. And I got something really exciting to tell you too. Because I enjoy connecting people so much, my son and I have authored a book known as Land and Air. Well, air, land, and sea animals connect the dots. And what it is an opportunity for you to sit down primarily with your children if you can. So with your child, join the dots that we've put together for you. It creates the shape of an animal. When you completed the animal, it also turns into a coloring book. So what better thing can you do to connect and get time with the people that you love than doing it through the book that we have authored? So please, if you have the opportunity, head over to Instagram, look for us, The Feeling Station, click in the bio and then select the Amazon link that would allow you to buy your own very copy of this book. Please, guys, we would love to see you connecting this way because, hey, it's a breakout podcast, right? So we're trying to do good for mankind. So yeah, let me know if you guys manage to purchase a copy. I'll be honored to have you on. With that out of the way, let's get straight into this week's episode.
Is that a breakup?
I think we have a situation right here on the Feeling Station.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Wow. I always moan when people are lifeless, and you've just been very lifeless on what's been an eventful and fun weekend for me. Come on, don't send me down that hole. Let's try this again. Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Hi, Tinto.
Yes, come on.
You know what? I'm actually pretty excited, but I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, don't worry. Your nerves are going to settle a lot quicker than you actually think or imagine. For those listening to this podcast for the first time, it's a romantic family and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give lessons from their experiences. Now, I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And as you know already, the podcast is really popular for 2 main reasons. The first being I do my best to keep you, my friend, anonymous by giving you a name from the African continent. And today I'm giving you a name from Comoros. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And your name is Sadia, which is Sadia. That's because of the Islamic influence. Sadia. And what that means is somebody who's blessed and somebody who's fortunate.
Oh,
yeah.
Amazing.
So you are blessed as far as this is concerned. And I guess you're blessed that you're not with the person you're with, right? You're going to talk about it.
Right.
Amen.
Amen.
And what are you calling the person you're talking about today?
I'm going to call him Engineer.
Oh, Engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any special reason why you're calling him Engineer?
No, I can't even bother to give him a name.
So you engineered one.
as possible. I'm not good today.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So the story is about Saudi, an engineer, and the second reason why the podcast is doing really great is they're real life lessons that people walk away, with from the story that you're going to share. So, what would you like anybody listening to your story today to go away with?
Okay, so the first one is a crush is just lack of information.
Ah, what?
A crush is lack of information.
Okay. I guess that will come alive in the story, right? A crush is
Right.
just lack of information. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Got a second lesson?
Yes. The next one is never ignore your gut.
Oh, standard. You can say that again. Mm-hmm.
The third one is be able to think for yourself. It's your life.
Okay, cool. I was about to comment and say something, but I think it'll come out in the story. Because I've been
Yeah.
in a situation where I was not able to think for myself because I was that in love.
You see, it
Yeah.
happens a lot.
So I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. And
And the last one is
mm-hmm.
leave at the first sight. Sorry, at the first hint that you're not wanted.
Oh yeah, geez, that is deep, eh?
Yeah. And once,
It's a bit painful and difficult to do because we all want to feel wanted, right?
yeah, and sometimes it's like things things are good, and you just
Yeah,
don't want to. Then you need to. You
yeah,
need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll just play the back number one. A crush is just lack of information. I think I like that one the most. Number two, never ignore your gut. Number three, be able to think for yourself. It's your life. And number four, leave at the first hint that you might not be wanted. Cool. Sadia, let's get into it then. Tell me about how you met Engineer and why you decided to give him a chance with you.
Okay, great. So I met Engineer when I was in high school. So since my first year of high school, for my entire 6 years, I was like we're at the same place. And he was two streams ahead of me, so meaning he was 2 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And for like the first couple of years, we never really interacted until the fourth year when I was preparing for my O's.
Mm.
That's when things suddenly seemed to change. So my mom signed me up. So I was in boarding school, and then my mom signed me up for holiday school.
Mm-hmm.
But the holiday school was a day school, so I'd go home and come back, etc. So my best friend at the time is cousins with him. So somehow the three of us ended up going to the same holiday school.
Mm.
So what would happen is sometimes he would like wait outside my class and like then take me to go get food and then get his cousin type of thing. So I never really thought much of it. At the time, I was just thinking we're getting along, until he started like holding my hand, etc. When he would be taking me to the bus stop.
Mm-mm.
And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, what's this guy doing? Because um, are we feeling each other? Because at this point, I had been crushing on him for a very long time. So I'm like, okay, let me not tweak because I also know that he's dating someone who's also a prefect and it's a whole thing. The whole school knows, like, this can't possibly be what's going on. Right.
Right.
So holiday school ends, we go back to school and things go back to normal as if nothing happened. Fast forward to like 3 years later, we're still talking, we're still in communication. He replied to my Instagrams and stuff like that. Like we had like a brother sister bond.
Right.
And um, one time I was now seeing some guy and we were at a concert and I'd actually gone with my boyfriend's family to this concert. And as we're there, like just meandering, gallivanting, I see Engineer rock up with one of the guys that I know from high school. And immediately I'm like, oh my God, Engineer. Tinto, please tell me why. I jumped onto this man,
Ah,
like legs wrapped around his
ah,
waist.
ah,
Like,
ah, ah.
you know what? For me, because the entire time I just phased out that whole almost romantic thing.
Oh, yeah.
And saw him as a brother.
Okay, okay,
So
okay, yeah.
it wasn't with like ill intent or anything. To me, it was like, oh my God, like I haven't seen you in so long.
It was
Do you
genuine
get what?
excitement, pretty much.
Yes. It's like I never
Yeah.
thought we would get to meet again. So, anyways, years later, he's hitting me up, right? And he's asking me, so now I'm in uni. So he's hitting me up. He's like, oh, are you in my city? Like, when are you coming to my city?
Mm.
And I was like, oh, I just got back here, so I would need to check my dates and see. He's like, okay, let me know because you need to come. So I thought he was tripping because he wasn't communicating after that. Like, he didn't necessarily follow up
Yeah.
or he wasn't keeping in touch. Do you get what I mean? So I didn't
Mm.
think he was being serious. So I told my mom about it, and then my mom was like, well, if you're seeming wishy-washy about it, just focus on what you need to do and move on. So I'm like, okay, cool. So my deadlines with school were like so cramped up. I'm like, I don't think I have the time to plan a trip. So let me just leave it.
Mm.
So I ghosted him. I didn't get back to him. I didn't necessarily ghost him. I just didn't get back to him. And then the next year, I'm talking to my housemate and my friends, and we were planning to go to Cape Town in December. So he lives there. So as we're planning this trip, and I was like, oh, I know someone who I can actually hit up if we actually go to Cape Town.
Yeah.
So, oh, text him. I text him on Instagram and he replies instantly. He's like, hey, what's my name again? Okay, hey, Sadia. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And we start talking. And then I ask how Cape Town is. He's like, oh, it's great. You never ended up coming. You never got back to me. And I was like, oh, yeah, my bad. Like, I wish I'd actually taken up the offer because now I actually really want to go visit there. I'm planning a trip. He's like, when do you want to come? And then I was like, oh, we're planning to come in December. He's like, why not come earlier? Then I was like, what do you mean, like come twice? He's like, 3 times or even more. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have that kind of money. He's like, but I do.
Yay. Come on, engineer.
I
Flex.
said,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. So you see, I'm with my friends. So when I see this text message, I said, guys, and everyone's going crazy. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, let's do it. He's like, check your dates and then get back to me. I texted him the next day. He's like, okay, great. Then he got the tickets.
Mm.
And I was meant to go like 3 weeks later. So um, I went to see him, and the first trip was great. We knew each other, like it was easy to have conversations. And the way that he thought was so different from me. It was that thing of like opposites attract.
Mm.
We were both into different things, but both after the same type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we meshed really well. So, anyways, the first trip went really well, and we we talked for hours, and we actually ended up realizing that at some point in our lives, we lived in the same neighborhood when we were kids, and we were hanging out in the same areas. But at that point, we didn't even know each other. And at the same time, we also realized that we were born in the same hospital. So
What?
imagine.
Wow.
So, but
Mm.
like different years. And the crazy thing is, I also look like his twin sister. So
What?
now we're talking about all of this, and we're sitting there, and I'm thinking, dude, what's going on?
Mm.
Like, what the hell? So in this, and at this point in time, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like maybe I might have made it seem like more than it was. Do you get what I mean? But I really believe in the string theory. I was like, I feel like we were meant to meet. I feel like we were meant to have whatever's about to happen here. I
Mm.
feel like I were meant to give it a shot. So, and he also told me, he's like, at some point I knew that you were gonna come to me. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I was manifesting you. I knew that like there's no way our lives are gonna end and we don't get to go. I'm engineer.
Wow. And I'm manifesting you. I was manifesting
It's
you.
all fun and games, but you should take these things seriously. So we ended up hanging out, and the whole trip was great. I think I was there for like 4 days, and then I went back to school. So when I went back to school, obviously everything had been so lovely, and I'm like, oh my god, I think I found the one. I think I found the person that I've been waiting for. That whole shebang. But then I was also in my head. I was also like, I need to chill because am I really ready to settle? Because a part of me wants it, but I also need to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this one to God. Okay. So I prayed about it and I even fasted. I'm like, I'm going to do a 3-day fast. If this is not going anywhere, then let's just cut it off right now because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to ruin my life or whatever. Ruin my destiny over something that's not meant to be mine, right? So what then happened is in my area, we started having a lot of load shedding. Something with the municipality chowing all the money and the electricity goes whenever it wants.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it can go for like 3 days, um, maybe per 2 months or something like that. And I'm like, it was crazy. And at that point we were going out most of the time to have food. So one time I went out with my friends and we were drinking. Then I'm like, I actually missed this guy and I need to see him. So I'm texting him. Then I was like, you know what? I'm so tempted to buy a ticket. He's like, you should. Then I'm like, are you being for real? He's like, yeah, you should. So I'm telling my friends, and my friends are like, yeah, do it. I'm like, okay, sure, let me do it. Then I got a ticket, and then I actually ended up going to Cape Town, right? And now he was excited, like he was feeling the same way that I was feeling, like the reason for me going there. So I'm like, okay, this is going great. As I'm there, one morning, we're in bed. I think one of his friends called him and they're having a conversation. But at some point, it seemed like the friend asked him, like, okay, he said that he had company, like his girl was over.
Who the friend said he had company?
No, no, no. As he's on the call with his friend,
Uh,
I could hear the friend a little bit, and the friend was asking something, and then engineer mentioned that his girl was here,
okay.
and then he said, and then the friend is like, which one? So I'm there, and my ears are perked up right now. I'm like, what's going on here? Who the hell? So he's like, he said my name, and then he ended up saying, okay, she's back already, blah blah blah. Then they had a conversation, right? I brought it up, and then he was like, oh no, I don't tell him everything that I'm doing. So I mentioned you, so he must have thought that maybe I'm doing something else because he probably didn't anticipate that you're gonna come back. This this was like 3 weeks later. So I guess maybe they didn't anticipate me planning a trip back to Cape Town just 3 weeks after meeting him the first time.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's not dwell on it. I'm here to have fun. Let's keep it pushing. So at this point, I knew that in like a month, his birthday was gonna come up. So he was going to work. The first trip when I went, he wasn't going to work. Like I think he was on break or something. So the second trip is when he was going to work. So I'd have the house to myself. So I'm like, okay, I actually need to discover what this guy likes. Let me snoop around so I can find things to buy him for his birthday. So I decided, let me go through his chest of drawers and, find things. And I'm opening like boxes of shades, things like
But
that.
wait. Ah, okay. I know we want to dress it up as okay, and I know you're still gonna tell me why you really did this. Is cool, but okay, how long have you been talking to him like romantically? And you guys are feeling each other.
Okay, I think since since we, okay, you mean
Give me
before all,
months. Yeah, give me months or years, whatever. How long had it been since you started feeling like, yeah, okay, no, I think this is worth me buying him a present? How long had it been?
oh, like 2 months?
Okay, and in the 2 months, you hadn't got a hint of what he might like. Because I'm just trying to
Okay.
understand why you'd have wanted. For starters, you described it as snooping,
Mm.
right? Already, that word is just dodgy on its own. Um,
It was a little dodgy because I'm very inquisitive. I want to know what's going on.
so was it really about his birthday, or you wanted to know what was going on?
Oh, yes. I feel like he had been treating me really well. Even that month, he had like sent me more than I needed just for me to do my hair and things like that. I didn't really feel like it was a big deal for me to get him a gift. Yeah.
Okay.
And bear in mind, I'd also like paid my money to go there the second time. So for me, it was genuinely like out of care and feeling the whole thing, wanting to also play my part in the relationship and not just be on the receiving end. And my snooping was also because I'm a student. So I wanted to also see, hey, this guy, the things that he buys, I don't think I have the type of money for that. Let me see things that I can put together for a gift, something that's decent. So hence the snooping around.
Okay. All right.
And
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go.
as I'm snooping around, I shake a box. Okay, I move a box, right, of shades, and it was empty. All these boxes were empty. But then one made a sound. So I open it, and then I find a pair of like golden green earrings.
Mm-hmm.
So instantly, I'm like, okay, great. This is amazing. So I look at them, I take a picture. I obviously have a conversation with my best friend. You know how this shit goes.
Well, what did you say was amazing for finding earrings?
Yes. I'm like,
Why was that amazing?
it's like just great. This is the last thing that I needed to find because
Oh, I
now,
see. I see. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Get it.
So yeah, I tell my best friend about it. We have a whole conversation. But the thing is, the people around me, just because of the type of person he was, wouldn't see the bad in him. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh no, I'm pretty sure there's a good reason for it. Don't tweak. It's fine. Just find a way to bring it up and have a conversation about it. And I'm like, okay, either way, that's the right thing to do. You're supposed to confront situations if you actually want to build trust with someone. So I then brought it up, and then he's like, huh? And then I told him how I found them. And then he's like, oh, I actually don't know why I still have those because I haven't seen them in the longest time. Um, I think they must have just been left there and I haven't seen that box. I'm like, okay, you know what? Either way, it's either I'm going to believe you or not because I don't know anyone here. People here don't know me, so there's no one to ask. I can never double check. We live in different cities. I can't do anything. So I let it go, and the rest of the trip went well. And the thing is, also, when I was here, he had a friend who had been staying over, but because I was now at the house, the friend was living with someone else. But
Right.
we had out, sorry?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah. So we had gone out with him one time, and during that, so he's married. So he called his wife and they were having a whole conversation. Then it's like, oh, here you can talk to Sadia, right?
Mm.
This is engineer's girlfriend. So I'm thinking, Hebo, okay, things are going well, but we didn't necessarily have this girlfriend boyfriend conversation.
Conversation. Yeah.
So it's a bit crazy to just throw it out there. You haven't shown me or said anything to me. So I don't say anything about it. I have a conversation with her. Things go well, blah, blah. I think a couple of days later, because I was actually meant to be there for like 7 days, but then he kept on saying, please don't go, please don't go. And then I ended up staying there for like 11 days.
You?
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, I ended up staying for 11 days because he was getting my return ticket. So yeah, he was responsible for that one. And also, I didn't really have much to do. I actually had school, but
Mm-mm.
yeah. Anyway, you'll hear the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So um, now I bring it up, and I didn't necessarily say what are we, but I just said, "Oh, I know that things have been going well, but um, I feel like maybe it's time to, you know, figure out if we're what we're looking for. Am
more,
I what we're
more like
looking
what
for?"
you're looking for, because you needed clarity there.
Yeah.
Own it.
Also,
Own what you wanted to hear. There. Okay. Yeah. So. So.
no, because at the time I feel like I also wanted a serious gesture to show that this person is intentional on moving forward to marriage and things like that. Because dating is just one thing, but are you sure? Because he had had conversations with me about how unprepared he felt for about like marriage, and he was talking about, this is the first time that I've actually considered settling down because people around me aren't really good examples, and it was just the last thing on my mind. I was just focused on collecting accolades and climbing the ladder and making something out of myself so that I can then be able to take care of my 11 children that I want to have in the future.
You. Mm.
Imagine, imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So, I felt like if I I needed to also have that conversation to see if he was actually prepared for all that comes with progressing towards that,
Mm.
towards like a marriage. So I asked him, he's like, oh yeah, like, yes, I wanna go out with you. He started talking about all the things that he likes about me, etc. etc. Then I brought it up and I was like, oh, but you just mentioned it to your friend that I was your girlfriend, blah blah. He's like, no, he must have just said that just because you and I are like hanging out. You know,
Mm-mm.
in retrospect, he didn't necessarily say it like that, but what I got from it is that. So I feel like I should have paid more attention to that and put a red flag on that, because it seemed like,
Mm.
oh, they're shoving it down my face and I'm just going with it.
Mm.
Just
Mm.
your ways. Like,
Mm. Mm.
so I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. I guess things are, I guess we're moving forward. Okay. So I think after this trip, he posted me. He didn't necessarily post me, but then he posted like like a weekend collage, and then he posted a picture of me, and then he put like a song tag over my face, but like the rest of the body was in frame, and it was something that
Okay.
he posted. And the thing is, both our follower list on Instagram are mainly from our high school,
Mm.
and that's like at least 900 people on our
Yo.
page
Right.
from high school. And it's so hard to get rid of them. I wish I could open a new Instagram, really, because I need to get rid of those people.
Mm.
Anyways, people saw that, and people didn't really say anything to me, but I think some people that knew that it was me had a conversation with him, which in turn led a girl who hated me from high school, who was also close to engineer, who was all the way in a different continent. Imagine, Tinto.
Mm.
I got texted an engineer saying, um, so can you call me when you get the time? And then she ended up calling him saying, oh, whatever happened to the girl that I tried to hook you up with, who's also in Cape Town? How did you end up dating Sadia? And like, what's going on? And then she started spewing like crazy things I've never heard before.
Like
And I'm
what?
sitting there thinking, Hebo,
Like what? What was she saying?
um, she was just saying that I'm not the right person to settle with. And um, also my history totally made up, talking about how uh, I was dating two people at the same time. Imagine in boarding school, you see each other all the time. 9 months of the year, you guys are together. So things spread quickly. So if anything like that would have happened, the whole school would have known about it. But this was something that only she would talk about, but none of my close friends knew the story as that. Do you get what I mean? So all the stuff up about how I'm just unfit to be with someone like him, not knowing what someone like him is because God bless whoever he is with now because
Wow.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Let me go on. So now I go back, right? I'm back home. He posts me, etc. Then I lost my dog, and we've been keeping dogs for like probably 7 years now, or more. And this was one of the dogs that we got the very first time, like one of our very first dogs. He got attacked by our other two pit bulls, and he died. And
Oh.
obviously, like if you have a dog, it's heartbreaking. Like those things are your babies. So I remember going through a hard time, and the day it happened, or the day I was taught about it, I was just crying about it. And I ended up telling him, ABCD, I lost my dog. And he was just so passive about it. I don't think there was much that he could have done in the situation because the dog is gone. But it's just like a mother losing their child is obviously different, but the feeling is the same. You're losing something that was there for you every time you needed company or comfort. So I brought it up, and then he told me, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that if I've never gone through something before, it's hard for me to sympathize." I'm thinking, so like you just don't have emotions, Nje. He's like, if I've never experienced that thing before, I can understand these situations where someone can lose their parent, and yes, you can try to say like you're sorry, but you can never really feel what they're going through. So obviously I understand that aspect where he's never had a pet and never felt how it feels to lose one. So I'm like, okay, you know what? It's cool. It's fine. Let's move past it. So his birthday
Did
comes.
he ever have pets? And I don't want to dwell on it. Did he ever have pets
No,
at
I
all?
don't think so.
Oh,
No.
okay. I mean, but obviously that affected you. You felt you should have had more empathy.
Yeah, I felt like just
Okay.
a slight, because he wasn't even texting me back. I think he just said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then he told me that he was going to play FIFA with his boys, and then he was quiet for like the next 6 hours.
Okay.
So I just felt like, you know, I don't know, maybe I was just asking for too much by, asking for a simple text. So now, days later, his birthday came up. So I texted my friend, my best friend, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, you know what? We have a couple of pictures. I want to post something decent, like something calm, but not crazy for his birthday." And we had also never really had this conversation before because I post my partners and I record things, like I take pictures all the time, I record videos all the time. So people who don't like being videoed or who don't like being posted tell me upfront, "Oh, yeah, no, it's cool, but please let me know if you're going to post that."
Oh, yeah.
So I make it a point to, ask before I post. But then obviously for his birthday, it felt like a weird thing having to ask. So I'm like, I'm just going to post. And it wasn't even anything
So,
crazy.
so would you normally ask to check if that is being posted or not? Blah 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 blah.
No,
No, he wouldn't.
no.
Okay.
So now I post, and his face wasn't actually really in the picture. You could see his body, and then you could see like the side of his face. But like I said, about 900 of the people that follow us are from high school.
Yeah.
When they saw that, they knew immediately
Who he
it's them.
was? Yeah.
So now they start hitting up his phone. So he says, "You know what? He started acting weird after I posted." And then it turned into a conversation. And I'm like, "Dude, why do you seem like you're pissed?" And then he's like, "Oh, no, the thing is, it's my birthday. And I feel like now, instead of me just receiving messages about it being my birthday, I'm getting interrogated about how I'm dating you. And I feel like it's just the last thing that I needed to deal with on my birthday.
Yeah.
Because some of those people are people that I don't let into my life, and I don't feel like I even want to talk about my romantic relationships with them. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I can relate to that. But then, you know, I did what I did, and I felt like it was the right thing to do. But I can also understand where you're coming from. And, you know, that was my bad. So we move forward, right? And at this point, it now just seemed like the distance was making me realize, because this guy, he wouldn't necessarily call me. I think, Tinto, in the months that we're dating, he probably called me not more than 20 times.
Yeah.
I promise. And most of the time, like during even the texting, sometimes you just go quiet because you'll be like, when I'm at work, um, it's all about work. And when I'm off work, I'm managing people. Because as young as he was, like at 26, he was in a managerial position over 40 and 50-year olds, you know. And I think, you know, his ego was growing.
Right.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, when I'm out there at work, I'm busy. When I'm at home, people are just ringing me up because the factory is working 24/7, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I've been around you and I know that your phone is always blowing up. I can understand that. So he's like, yeah, when I'm not texting, I just want to be able to think. And I'm like, okay, calm. But there's things that you can actually text about because that's basic communication. You can't tell me that you come back from work at like 4 p.m. and then you suddenly text me at 9 p.m. and you're suddenly at your boy's house. You managed to communicate with them and make plans to hang out, but you couldn't tell me that you're just going to be busy, because I'm not asking you to text me when you're with your boys, but you can at least let me know that, okay, I'm going to chill with the boys. Then I know, oh, he's occupied. So let me not expect to, you know, be on the phone. Simple communication. So now, I remember one time one time I was hungover and I told him how sick I was, right? And then he's like, in fact, I told him I was sick. And then he later on texted me and then he was asking me if I had eaten. I was telling him, oh, I still can't eat. And then he went quiet. Then the next day, he then texted me in the morning. And it was suddenly a conversation about how I don't take care of myself and how I don't eat. My hangovers are bad. And he suddenly feels like he has to be responsible for me. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, is the story still about being hungover or what?
There's more to this, yeah.
Because there's also, oh, I forgot to mention a very crucial detail. So the second trip, the last trip that I went on, I told him that I had been sexually assaulted before. Right? Earlier, you and I had a conversation, and I told you that I'd been to a different country before I came here.
Yeah. I remember, yeah.
So that's when it happened, hence the transition here.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like stemming from that conversation, he must have perceived me as like someone who was in need of fixing or someone who needed constant care or someone who was insecure. But the thing is, I felt like he just wasn't willing to compromise in the way that's needed when you're building something with someone. Do you get what I mean? It was either his way or the highway. Like his personality, to him, he was fully perfect. And I just had to take everything that he came with without him having to compromise in any way. So when I look back at it, I'm thinking, is it because I told him about that situation?
Right, okay. Right, getcha.
Think that me being hungover and me being, sometimes just not feeling like eating is me wanting him to be responsible for me. And at this point, I'm just thinking, okay, I might be overthinking, but like this was not going well. So I talked to my best friend and I talked to other people. And like I said, because of the kind of person he was, everyone was just like, oh no, like I don't think it's that, blah, blah, blah. You need to give it a shot, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? God, I'm coming back. Give me one last one. One last one and I'm gone. Right? Now I was meant to go back home because school was ending. And I traveled back. In fact, he asked me to come to Cape Town before going home. So he's like, please ask your parents. Please, I'm begging you. Because I was like, hey, dude, my parents can never not see me at home in December.
Yeah.
Like, that's happening.
Yeah.
So I asked my parents are like, okay, cool, you can go, but just a couple of days. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go there, and once again, he was working, and I had the house to myself. So one time, I was trying to roll a blunt, and him and I both smoked, but like our smoking is like here and there. Do you get what I mean? So I was bored. I'm like, okay, let me just roll a blunt because when I'm in an unfamiliar house, I struggle to sleep. So most throughout the night, I'm just tossing and turning. And now during the day, I'm like, okay, you know what? I've at least cleaned up the house. Let me smoke and go back to bed. So I'm trying to find a piece of paper to roll on. And then I see a paper that has a name on it. And then it's written like Nobuhle, engineer. I'm looking at this paper and the ink looks fresh. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I have notebooks. I know what old ink.
Shamar, what? Guys, yeah. I know you can date and you can age trees based on the rings that they have. But what? You can tell that this was okay. Let me ask a different question. How fresh was this piece of paper? Since you're so good at it, how old was it?
Okay. For my analysis, I would say, Sha, you don't believe in me.
Okay, you'd say it was what?
I'd say it was maybe like a month old. I don't believe myself either.
Anyway, okay, yeah.
So I then ask him, like, when he comes back from work, like later on, I then asked him and I was like, hey, dude, who's Nobuhle? He's like, who? I'm like, Nobuhle. He's like, how do you know Nobuhle? Then I'm like, you're not answering the question. Who's Nobuhle? He's like, oh, it's a girl that I was once with a long time ago. It was just a situationship. Then I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, where did you hear that name? And I was like, oh, I saw a paper. Then he's like, oh, okay, cool. No, it's a girl from way back then. So most of the time, the thing is, when I don't know how to react or if I don't know what to say, I just keep quiet. So I just go quiet, not because I was pissed or anything. I just also didn't have anything to say. I just had to think whether I believed him or not because I'd also seen the earrings before. So in my head, it's like, okay, let's start waking up here. Something's going on.
Right.
So
Give me some context in terms of timelines. What was the difference in time from the time that you found the earrings and Nobuhle? What's the months period in there?
like 3 months.
3 months. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So now at this point, I'm like, this is weird. And, the thing is, when I got to his house, I think this is the third day of me being at his house when I found this paper. But the second day, if not the first, when I got there, the first night when I slept, I had a dream where we were at a party, like him and I, and it looked like a work event, but the after parties where everyone, even the management, is drunk. And I asked to go to the bathroom. And as I'm coming back from the bathroom, I see a girl who's like all over him. And it seemed like these people were already comfortable doing that with each other, but he was cautious. It looked like he was trying to look through the crowd to look for me, but he couldn't spot me.
Right.
But he was also holding this girl. So in my head, I just brushed it off. I prayed about it and then I brushed it off. And then I then found this paper like 2 days later. So now I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? It's done. I'm here, but I'm going to Zim. It's fine. The rest will do itself. But in my head, I was already calculating an exit plan, but I also had hope. I was hoping that I wasn't self sabotaging. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's leave it. Let's move on because I will only have to just take his word for it. But I was ignoring what I was supposed to be seeing. So I move forward. I go back to Zim. And I think not for the first 9 days, I was just at home. I was just chilling, nothing. I didn't even go out or anything. And then one of my cousins who's based in South Africa calls me and is like, hey, dude, you know what? You need to pull through right now. We're at a B&B and our other cousin who's been in America for like 10 years is here. And I'm like, dude, what? Let me actually come right now. So I end up going there and I was there for like a week. And the week was fun. Obviously, you know how it is when, all your favorite cousins are in one room, in one space in December. So we're having a blast. I think I was hungover for like half the week. And I was honestly having the time of my life. But, someone had a problem with it.
Oh.
And at some point, and you know what happened is when this was going on, when I'm having fun, the entire time, it was the same routine of him going out every weekend, him being with the boys the other day, and then him defrosting the other day. That was his weekend. That was just his lifestyle, right? But then for me, this was like the first time that I'd actually been drinking in that type of setting, like in that type of way. So now he's barely texting. He would text like maybe after like 5 hours, and he wasn't going to work. He had actually taken a 21-day leave. So he had ample time to text. But I also just said, you know what? He's on leave. Let him do him whatever he wants to do. And I'm also going to do my thing because I'm in Zim. I have people to see, people to reconnect with. And, this is the time. So I don't necessarily think to leave at this point, honestly. I was just waiting to see. And I don't know why I was still waiting because I really could have just left it.
What we waiting? We're waiting for confirmation that there's somebody else in the picture because that's what it's starting to
I
feel a
guess
bit like.
so. I guess so. I feel like I
Okay.
wanted tangible, but then I think I then got it, or I then saw something and just let it be that. So now I need to tell you about one of the craziest nights of my life. Um, my cousins and I were supposed, in fact, my cousin who was from America was supposed to go back. But then when we got to the airport, they told her that they had an issue with the airline. So she couldn't actually make that flight. So it wasn't her fault. She just couldn't make the flight. So we had to come back home and fix all her things. So in this whole process, everyone's hungover. We're fighting for our lives. She manages to book another ticket. So we're like, okay, great. Let's go to my house, to my parents' house, because at this point we were staying at a B&B. So now we go to my family house. We go there and my mom ends up sending us with like goat meat. She's like, go get this bride. If you know Kwazindoga, that's it. Like, go get this meat bride and come back with it because we're going to have that for dinner. After what had happened at the airport, everyone's like, guys, we should get a few drinks. We're like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Let's get a few drinks. We start drinking. We buy the meat. We put in the boot. Then we go to another location closer to home. And then we start drinking. The drinks were flowing and everyone's having a good time. Like, we're playing games, we're daring each other. The meat in the boot. We decided, guys, let's go to a vitro and, end the night there. we drive to a vitro, and at this point, we actually didn't have alcohol in the car. Well, we went with two cars. My cousin, me, and my friend were in one car, and then the guy cousin and a few other people were in the second car. So when we get to a vitro, my cousin and I get out of the car, and we're going to the other car. And as we're walking towards them, they come out with bottles of alcohol. I think they had like one bottle that they were trying to share. And before you know it, there's like a truck behind us of cops.
Yo.
And I'm standing there, and I don't think anything's going to go down. And they're like, public drinking. They're not Umadore. Who's drinking that alcohol? Who's drinking that alcohol? Oh, so no one was drinking it. All of you get in. All of you get in instantly. And this is like at midnight. All of us get in. So now we get in, and, you know, some other people weren't handling the alcohol well. So other people are talking crazy, and the cops are starting to get irritated. And you know how some cops, and it's making the situation worse.
Yeah.
And my cousin, who the one from America, who obviously, you know how the culture is of you not speaking in Shona when you can speak in Shona.
Yep.
So now they're like, oh, masala daya, blah, blah, blah. And I'm knowing that this is going down. This is going down. We get there. We went to like Avondale police. We're there. We're chilling. And people are still kiki hiring. I think it was probably the alcohol. Like, people didn't think it was going to go bad. But it was about to go bad. It was about to go bad. So anyways, we're there. I think we're stuck there for like 2 hours. And at this point, I called my older brother because he was actually at a vitro. So I called my older brother. He came, he bailed us out, etc. And at this point, I'm also texting my boyfriend, engineer, telling him what's going down. And as I'm texting him, I also remember that he was traveling that time from Cape Town to a different city for his cousin's wedding.
Yeah.
So he was tied up, and I was texting him about this situation, right? So he responds, blah, blah, blah. And we're still stuck. We go home, and he follows up the next day. And then after that, that's when things started going downhill. From then on, the communication was just so weird. In my head, I'm just thinking, I was just as good as single. Danda kudana nandega.
What was weird about it?
So when you travel to the other city, he would probably text me at 8 a.m, and then I would reply like maybe an hour later, and then he would text me at like 8 p.m.
Okay, right.
So now this went on for like a couple of days, and I'm just there like, okay, you know what? We need to talk. And even on Christmas, no Merry Christmas, no nothing. Mans was just posting on his Instagram, on his WhatsApp, not a single text the whole day. He hadn't even replied to my prior message. So at this point, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, cool. I guess this is about to go down. So he ends up calling me. And at this point, I knew that I was going to break up with him. But I wanted to hear what he was going to say. But I let him talk first. And I'm glad I did that because I feel like he got to reveal more about himself than I had actually seen when I was with him. So now when I'm talking to him, he's like, you know what? I think that I was infatuated with our love story or our history. And I don't think that, like, we can say that I was really in love with you like that. I think he's like, I really like you as a person and things like that. But when it comes to marriage, I had to realize that I ignored a few red flags. And I said, what red flags? And I was like, what red flags did you ignore? He's like, oh, I don't want to get married to a woman that gets arrested.
Really?
I said, bro, public drinking. Those people just want $20. We had just irritated them, and they knew that they were probably going to get more money out of us, and they did. That was just the situation, and everyone knows how that goes, you know. And then he's like, also, the way that you dress. I don't think I would want my wife to be someone who portrays themselves like that. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, nigga, you've known me for over a decade,
Yeah.
and you've been following my Insta.
Yeah.
Know the type of person I am. So why is this suddenly a surprise? Why didn't you consider this before you even booked the first ticket? Do you get what I mean? He's like, he's like, Sadia, you can't just be going out, getting drunk all the time and being hungover. You don't even have that type of money for that.
The guy had a
I
bit
was,
of a mouth on him towards the end, didn't he?
bro, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what is going on here? And I'm like, so you that I just because I don't have a job, I can't drink. He's like, no, I'm not really saying that. I said, dude, that's exactly what you're saying. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I also don't want a person who smokes. And I'm like, how often do I smoke for it to seem like an issue to you? But at this point, I'm not necessarily asking him this question. Some of them I'm asking them, but some of them I'm just keeping quiet. I'm just keeping tabs in my head, like, okay, I see what's going on. So I'm like, you know what? It's all good because I'd also been meaning to have a conversation with you. You talk about so many things and then you underdeliver. You talk about communication and then you don't communicate at all. You don't pay attention to the things that need to be paid attention to. And I don't think we can actually do this. And like you said, I guess we're both infatuated with how we both came together. And maybe that's all there is to it. So we should just leave it because we're not that compatible. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. I just said, okay, cool. And that was it.
It's
Finished.
it's a shame that it had to go for as long as it did. It doesn't sound like it really went past about 6 months, right? How old was the whole thing?
Like 4 months.
It was about 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there was the, I don't know if I'd call them ample opportunities because you were still trying to understand what was going on, right? So you didn't really have the fortitude or the foresight to say, okay, I want to say what this is. But when I tie it back to your lessons, a crush is just lack of information. It now makes sense because you really just had a crush on this guy, but there was not enough information or depth for you to actually explore what something meaningful would have looked like between the two of you.
Yeah. And I feel like because I'd crushed on him for a very long time,
Yeah.
people, or the way that he portrayed himself, when I got to know him personally, I also saw things that I wouldn't want in a partner.
Yeah.
And I had thought of him as otherwise,
Yeah.
you know?
And yet he was never
So-
ever going to be that because already he was being a bit funny about what marriage could be and would look
Exactly.
like for him, isn't it? So I guess they were that the signs were there, and just can't that goes into almost points 2, 3, and 4. Number 2 being never ignore your gut. Your gut, I think, from the time that you clocked the earrings, got you feeling like, okay.
See?
And then because if you weren't that hyped or that tweaked, then the month-old paper wouldn't have meant wouldn't.
You're not forgetting that one.
Nah, I'm not. I've never heard that before. Never heard that in my life. Then the month-old paper wouldn't have raised red flags. You wouldn't have been as curious about Nobuhle as you were. And then even when you went to the club and is holding someone, a lot of things you became very sensitized to because you had question marks. So your gut was telling you what you needed to do, but I guess you just didn't have what it takes to do. You needed an excuse, pretty much. And
Yeah, I need something solid.
yeah, and that's what ties into lesson 3, that be able to think for yourself. It's your life. You had enough for you to think for yourself and to make a rational decision as to whether this was of value to you or it wasn't. And in the moment, you just wanted to hold fire till you had something substantial to then say, okay, this is what I'm using as my basis for my exit. And then,
I also feel like, considering the people around me, perceived him as one way. That also fed into why I waited that long.
Okay.
Because they were, oh yeah, no, things are going to go well. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I'm pretty sure there's a good explanation. Oh, he traveled for a wedding. He's probably busy with that. But then in my gut, something was telling me, you're not meant to be here. You're not meant to be here.
Yeah. Well, and the last one, I guess, leave at the first hint that you might be unwanted. Your first hint, I think, came quite quickly when they were now talking with this boy, and it's like, who? You know?
You know?
Yeah.
know?
I don't know whether you would have instantly said, you don't die. Here, there's something, I'm gone. But, that was enough. That was the first hint. And then everything else that came. Go on.
I was saying, I think the problem with small hints is that they're so small, you feel like this is too small of a reason for me to leave.
Yeah.
But sometimes it saves you a lot of money, a lot of time.
Yeah.
I got him birthday gifts that I should have gotten for my father. And I wish I could just back.
Sorry, man. But
hey, it's all good.
It is what it is, man. Thanks for sharing those. Sadia. Those are 4 key lessons. The one that I still really hang on to these days, and I think the older you become, the more you actually get to trust your gut. Because I just think the older you become, the more experience you have of distrusting it to a point where you now need to do yourself justice and just let it do what it's supposed to. And if you don't have a good feeling about something, leave. And
leave.
Especially if you can tell that the person you're trying to get to talk about this is not going to give you a truthful answer. Because once you ask and you're given the wrong one, you're not opening a whole new can of stuff.
See, and men lie a lot. Hey, men can lie.
Humans can lie.
We all can lie, and I think that's so.
Yeah, humans can lie.
That's what.
Well, thanks, Sadia. And you guys have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I will catch you in the next episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Sati's on Daro Raini and Chake Zain.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Sati's on Daro Raini and Chake Zain.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motoru no to kujidziro amai.
Kujidziro amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru no to kujidziro amai.